Good morning, everyone. I acknowledge the presence of our Director for Human Resources, Ms. Michelle Donovan-Stevens, our Acting Deputy PS for the Deputy Governor's Office, Ms. Helen Seymour, our guest speakers, Dr. June Samuel, and all our invited guests, and Mr. Kenton Colwood from the Department of Labor, who will be representing our Labor Commissioner, Ms. Janice Roemer. Welcome, one and all. This morning, it is my distinct pleasure to greet you on behalf of the Department of Human Resources and its Health and Safety Unit and all our strategic partners as we're here to join with many countries all over the world to commemorate World Day for Safety and Health at Work. The International Labour Organization saw it fitting to designate a day to bring attention to workplace accidents, injuries, and death, with the goal of reducing and minimizing the impact on the workplace globally. Since the inception of the commemoration of this day, workplace deaths have significantly been reduced globally. This, I might add, is no minor accomplishment. This year, the theme for World Day for Safety and Health at the Workplace has taken a different focus, though still extremely relevant and important. The shift this year is on the psychosocial risk of stress, under the theme, Workplace Stress, a Collective Challenge. Stress affects all of us, and it's not exclusive in our workplaces either. But since it is the business of ILO to focus on workplace, the theme is both timely and fitting. Would you say? Today, many workers are facing greater pressures to meet the demands for modern working life. Psychosocial risks, such as increased competition, higher expectation on performance, and longer working hours are all contributing to the workplace becoming an even more stressful environment. This situation is compounded by the enigma for constant communication and higher levels of global competition, both contributing significantly and diminishing the line which separates work and life, thereby making it even more and more difficult to identify where one begins and one ends. In addition, due to the significant changes in organizational structure and the current economic climate, workers are experiencing organizational pressures from restructuring, reduced work opportunities, increased demand for performance, the fear of losing their jobs, whether real or perceived, layoffs, unemployment, which threatens their financial stability. All of these have serious implications and consequences to mental health. According to ILO, work-related stress is now generally acknowledged as a global issue affecting all countries. So even us here in the BVI, we're not exempt. But today, while we're focusing on stress, we're also focusing on addressing the issue of managing stress. So we invited you here to come and to be a part of a day that you will learn how to manage your stress. So I implore all of you to take full advantage of the resources available. This event was planned for our public officers. We want all our employees to know that we recognize with the rest of the world the impact workplace stress have on you, and we care. Today is only the beginning of our focus on this very important topic. Deriving from the planning and focus for today's event, our Employee Relations Unit is planning a series of workshops to continue to address workplace stress, because indeed it is a collective challenge. Once again, I encourage each of you and everyone who is sitting under the sound of my voice to visit our exhibitors. We've partnered with many, many private and public partners to bring to you what we believe will be a very exciting and fun day, though stress is the theme. Finally, I end with a quote from Miss Marul Henner. Being in control of your life and having realistic expectations about your day-to-day challenges are key to stress management, which is perhaps the most important ingredient in living a happy, healthy, rewarding life. Would you agree? Stressors will always be there, but how we choose to handle what presents to us is what makes a difference. I invite you to have a stress-free day today as we learn more about how to manage workplace stress. And I thank you. Coming to the podium at this time, I will invite Mr. Kenton Colwood. He is the Senior Labor Inspector, and he will bring remarks on behalf of our Labor Commissioner, Ms. Janice Reimer. Please welcome him as he comes.
As we know, workplace stress, a collective challenge, is a theme of the campaign for World Day for Safety and Health at Work. I believe that at one time or another, everyone have experienced workplace stress. By a show of hands, let me know who hasn't. Who haven't? Or have not? I think we can say that everyone have at one time or the other. The International Labour Organizational website states that stress is the harmful physical and emotional response caused by an imbalance between perceived demand and perceived resources, and the ability of individual to cope with those demands. Work-related stress is determined by work organization, work design, and labor relations, and occurs when the demand of the job do not match or exceed the capability, resources, or need of the worker, or when the knowledge of the or ability of an individual worker or group to cope or not match with the expectation of the organizational culture of an enterprise. Workplace factors that can cause stress are called psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial factors hazard were defined by ILO in 1984 as the interaction between and among work environment, job content, organizational condition, and workers. Capacities, need, culture, personal extra job, consideration that may, through perception and experience, influence health, work performance, and job satisfaction. Nowadays, psychosocial risks and work-related stress are acknowledged as global issues affecting all countries, all professionals, all workers, in order to protect the health and well-being of workers as well as the productivity and competitiveness of businesses in the British Virgin Islands, workplace stress must be addressed. The impact of stress varies according to the individual. As a situation that may be stressful to me may not be stressful to you. Some of us can take lemons and turn them into lemonade when dealing with stressful situation. For example, some people thrive in pressure cooker type situation and would be stressed if this was not so. It has been proven that high stress levels are contributors to developing health-related impairment such as cardiovascular disease, burnout, depression, anxiety, and even suicide. These stress factors can lead employees to acquire unhealthy coping behavior by becoming alcoholics, drug addicts, having unhealthy diets, to not participate in sufficient physical activities, as well as develop sleep disorder. Furthermore, psychosocial hazard and work-related stress are associated with individuals taking time off from work regularly or work despite illness, injury, anxiety, etc., often resulting in reduced productivity or the practice of working long hours at a job without the real need to do so. I know none of us have that problem, right? Okay. The Labor Commissioner's slogan for this year has been, be present. She asks us, her staff, from time to time, if they are present or with me, because it is indeed possible for someone to be at work and still not present. Reduce motivation, satisfaction, and commitment. Staff turnover and intention to quit. Reduce efficiency and accuracy in performance. All these problems affect productivity, competitiveness, and public image of any organization. Stress, mental health, and well-being have long been recognized as important workplace issues, which significantly impact an employee's well-being as well as company productivity and performance. Today, workers all over the world are facing significant changes in work organization and labor relation. We are under greater stress to meet demands of modern working life. With the pace of work dictated by instant communication and high level of global competition, the lines separating work from life are becoming more and more difficult to identify. Psychosocial hazards such as increased competition, higher expectation as regard to performance, and longer working hours all contribute to an ever more stressful working environment. Without health at work, a person cannot contribute to society and achieve well-being. If health at work is threatened, there is no basis for productive employment and socio-economic development. There's an adage that says, find a job you love and you'll never work another day. Most people spend about 25% of their adult life working. You are indeed quite blessed if you enjoy what you do. Anyone here, I guess everyone here enjoy what you do, right? I love my work, so I guess you too. But if you're the square peg in a wrong hole job, the stress that goes with this scenario may lead you to not be productive, which may take a serious toll on your mind and body. So if you are experiencing stress at your workplace today, I want to end by giving you a few pointers as to how to manage that stress. 1, take time to recharge. This recovery process requires switching off from work by having a period of time when you are neither engaging in work-related activity nor thinking about work. Don't let your vacation days go to waste. When possible, take time off to relax and unwind so you can come back to work feeling great and ready to perform at your best. You can even take a vacation and visit another one of our beautiful islands. 2, we don't take time off because we feel too busy to live our lives and because we fear falling behind with our workload. We are a culture that measures success based on productivity, output, and hustle. As a result, many of us have adopted the dangerous perspective that doing more leads to a more fulfilling life. Doing more of one thing means doing less of something else. So when you say yes to work, projects, emails, schedule, and commitment, you make less space in our life to say yes to things like adventure, exploration, relaxation, personal time, and self-reflection. I don't have time to travel, people say, but the truth is we make time to do the things we need to do. We have time to work 40+ hours a week because we need to support ourselves. We have time to grocery shop because we need to eat. We have time to answer email at 11 p.m. or 12 midnight because we believe we need to be constantly available. But we need other things too, things beyond basic survival, financial gain, and professional accolades. We need sanity. We need mental and physical well-being, emotional health, meaningful relationship, stillness, adventure. We need to feel a connection to the world around us. Breaking our routine to travel improve everything from our productivity and our attitude to our social life and physical health. Three, learn to relax. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or physical exercise can help melt away stress. Start by taking a few minutes each day to focus on simple activities like breathing. Reading, walking, watching your favorite TV programs, enjoying a meal, or you can listen to your favorite band here in the BVI, the Lashing Dogs. That can help you relax. 4, talk to your supervisor. Healthy employees are typically more productive, so your boss have the incentive to create a work environment that promotes employee well-being. Start by having an open conversation with your supervisor. And finally, get some support. Accepting help from trusted friends and family members can improve your ability to manage stress. And if it gets too much for you, seek help. For example, from Employees Assistance Program, EAP, or speak to a psychologist who can help you better manage your stress and change your unhealthy behavior. I end with this quote from Eckhart Tolle. I want to leave stress. Stress is caused by being here, but not wanting to be. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to lighten it up a little bit, and we're going to call on Ms. Lynette Repsat to bring us a poem. Ms. Repsat?
Good morning. This poem is called Managing the Challenges. I actually wrote it on January 1st this year because I had a deep thought process. Challenges are inevitable. But let's remember those moments that are memorable, because they may be linked to some unforgettable challenge that opened our eyes or brought some big surprise that completely changed our lives. Maybe not always for the better, but God does know best. And with every test, we become not less, but impressive, as our life resume expands and improves. So let's take each day in pace, because no one knows what is next to be faced. And although sometimes we may lose our grace, or may even feel disgraced, we need to rise up and rise above and take every step, deal with every challenge, and try our best to manage with patience, humility, and love. I thank you.
This morning, we are also very blessed to have some very important people with us. Pastor Simon, as I mentioned, he's going to give us an interactive session on forgiveness. So I encourage you to stick around at 11:30. But at this time, we call another one of our strategic partners, the BVI Health Services Authority, in the person of Dr. June Samuel. She's one of my close colleagues. She's also the Chief of Medical Staff at the BVI Health Services Authority and a psychiatrist. I call her to the podium at this time to bring brief remarks. Thank you. Please welcome her as she comes.
I'm really honored to have the opportunity to speak with you. I'm not speaking to you because I'm going to ask some questions and I would like to get some responses. So I'm speaking with you today about this topic, which I am very heartened to notice that the ILO is using their influence to get the necessary attention paid to workplace stress. This is a topic for me that I have a vested interest in because in addition to being chief of staff, which Dawn said I am, I'm a psychiatrist by profession and I still practice. And we do see what we see more and more, and we now know that a lot of what we see is related to what's happening in the workplaces. So we're going to talk about that today. The first question I want to ask is, how many of us in this room, by a show of hands, believe that workplace stress is a significant challenge to be addressed. Oh, that's amazing. That's less than half of the room. So I'm going to ask the question again at the end, and I want to see if I've made an impact, okay? My hope today is that the information that you're exposed to will galvanize and motivate action at all levels. So I don't want us to just have a talk shop today and lime around in the breezeway. I expect that there's going to be some action coming out of this activity today. So I'm looking at Mrs. Donovan Stevens very closely as I speak. Because this is a serious issue, and one of the other things I'm hoping will happen is that we will become more empathetic to the persons around us and to our co-workers who may be experiencing the negative effects of stress. Very often, you know, we all walk around with nice smiley faces, but we're not really smiling inside. And some of us, when we are coming to work, we pick it up as we hit the parking lot because we feel stressed even before we hit the workplace, okay? So I want for us, after we hear all of this information today, bear in mind the people around us, check in with yourself, so that if persons are experiencing negative effects of stress, we will have our finger on the pulse. So the theme for this day is workplace stress, a collective challenge. Why is that? Most of us spend between 8 and 12 hours a day in work. Is that true? Okay, maybe so. Some of us spend 8 hours because that's what's required. And if you spend 8 hours, which is the bare minimum, then that's 30% of your day. If you're achievers like Mr. Colwood, who checks his email at 11 o'clock at night, and you're spending more than 12 hours a day at work, it means you're spending more than 50% of your time. 50% of the day is spent addressing work issues. Okay? What percentage of our population is in a workplace? Last time I checked, our unemployment figures are not very high. So that means that 80, 90% of our people are working, about 90%. Thank you for that confirmation. So 90% of us are in workplaces, and we're spending 30 to 50% of our time in work. Are we starting to see the challenge? There's an insurance company that did a research in the US, St. Paul's Fire and Marine Insurance, and what they indicated is that problems at work are more strongly associated with health complaints than any other life stressor. And that includes financial stressors or family problems. So the number one cause of stress for people who are seen by the insurance companies, it is related to workplace stress, okay? The other fact that they came up with in their research is that work-related stress is associated with increased error and injuries at work. Okay? So you got two facts to think about. There's another survey that was done that also shows that 1/4 of employees who were interviewed, view their jobs as the number one stressor in their lives. So Dawn, we're gonna do that survey, and we want to see what our employees are thinking, okay? But in one study, it was 1/4 of the employees. But the question is, what is stress? Mr. Colwood talked a little bit about it, so let's see who was listening. What is stress? Because you're gonna hear a lot about it today. I need us to understand when we say we're stressed, what we're really talking about. Any quick responses? No responses, that's not good. Okay, stress is the body's physiological response to a perceived threat. Mr. Colwood just said it, so everybody should have been shouting it out. Okay? But I need for us to recognize that it is your body's physiological response. So when we say we are stressed, or when you see or hear somebody saying that they're stressed, they're not making it up. It is actually a physical response going on in your body. Okay? And this response occurs when we have a perception of a threat. It matters not what the threat. And that is what's key here. So if I'm walking down the street and a gunman pulls me over, I'm going to feel stress. If I walk in here and an employee doesn't treat me so nicely, I don't get good customer service, I may not feel stressed. But another individual may have a completely different response to that person who doesn't treat them nicely in the workplace. Okay, so it is the perception according to the individual. So there's an individual factor associated with our stress response. That's the first thing I need you to remember. And job stress is a harmful physical and emotional response that occurs when the requirements of the job do not match the capabilities, the resources, or the needs of the worker, and it leads to poor health and even injury. Remember, capabilities, resources, and needs of the worker. Okay, we just came through the budget cycle. We know what our resource issues are like, okay? The needs of our workers, that's why Dawn is here, an employee assistance program. So the challenge here is that what we may see as threats may vary by individual. What does stress do? There's a saying that BV Islanders like to have, when you ask them about stress, and it goes like this: I'm too blessed to be stressed. Everybody knows that saying? Do we agree with that saying? Pastor Simon, you're going to say no too, right? Okay? Because my response to that usually is, once you are alive, you have some form of stress in your lives. Okay? Because there's positive stress and there's negative stress. So when we're talking about job-related stress causing health effects and injury, we're talking about chronic negative stress. Okay? So I need us to remember that. Chronic negative stress is linked with a number of chronic medical conditions. And now this is why I like to talk about stress, right? Tell me what are some of the conditions Mr. Colwood told you earlier. Let's see who was listening. High blood pressure, okay. Diabetes, Cardiovascular diseases, okay. Good, some people were listening. Sleep disturbance. I'm not going to ask people to tell me how well they sleep today, but based on what I see in my office, I know that a lot of people don't sleep well. Memory and concentration difficulties, upset stomachs, having to use Pepto-Bismol all the time, low morale, cardiovascular diseases, increased musculoskeletal disorders, which is we're always feeling like we're in pain. We have pain in the shoulders, pain in the back, pain everywhere, okay? That's stress-related. And of course, psychological disorders, which are my area of expertise: depression, anxiety, and burnout. But I have some other news for you. There are two other conditions that have now been shown to be stress-related, which in the BVI we are very concerned about. Anybody wants to take a wild guess? And it's the number 2 cause of death in the BVI at the moment. Cancer. Okay, more and more the research is showing that cancer and impaired immune function, things like SLE, lupus, which you probably know about, have been shown. Ulcers, those of us who suffer with ulcers, have been shown there's some link between being exposed to chronic negative stress and the development of these conditions. Why would I be concerned? Because take a wild guess as to what's the number 1 and 3 cause of death in the BVI. What are the number 1 and 3 causes of death? heart disease and, it's a trick question. Heart disease in its various forms. So heart disease and heart disease, various forms of heart disease. Okay, and the number 2 cause of death is cancer. Now, I don't know what you feel about that, but you can think about it and maybe tell me after. Okay? So for me, this is why it's important that we pay attention to workplace stress, because if I'm spending upwards of 30, 40, or 50% of my time in my workplace, and I'm saying to you today that stress, chronic negative stress, is linked with the development of certain types of medical conditions, we need to pay attention. Okay? Who's interested in how much money we lose from stress-related conditions? Ms. Donovan Stevens and Mr. Archer would be very interested. Yeah? Because it's a very expensive condition. So, it is estimated that the workplace stress in the US costs employers $200 billion in absenteeism, lower productivity, staff turnover, workers' compensation, medical insurance, and other stress-related illnesses. $200 billion, just letting you know, in the US. We can try to work it out for us here. And persons who are absent from work because of stress-related illnesses will need to be off an average of about 20 days. All right, so that's half of your leave taken up with stress-related illnesses. So what do we need to do? The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health indicates that we need 2 things. We need organizational change, and we need stress management in order to have healthy work environments. Stress management is personal. I'm going to say that again. Stress management is personal. We can talk about it all we want. We're going to tell you, you're going to see all the vendors outside there that can tell you, teach you, show you all the various techniques related to stress management. It is personal. You have to do it. You have to actively practice stress management. They're basic tenets. You need to sleep properly at night. You need to rest well. Okay, I know that we're working hard, and even I am guilty. I'm working on it too. Okay, but we need somewhere between 7 and 9 hours of sleep at night in a dark room with no TV or radio playing, appropriately temperature controlled, in order for our bodies to shut down and repair itself and be ready for the next day. Now, I can tell you, we run out of sleeping aid medication in the BVI regularly. So you know what that means. But sleep is basic. You're going to hear it. Everybody out there will tell you, you have to sleep well at night. If you're not sleeping well at night, it's the only time the body can repair itself. All the damage that happens during the day, if you don't repair it at night, you're setting up your system for burnout and cancer and heart disease and all the other things. Okay? Exercise. We hear about it all the time. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to bore you to death. But true exercise only works if you're doing it for a minimum of 45 minutes to an hour, and it is brisk walking, not strolling. You have to at least sweat, and you have to carry your pulse rate up. Okay, so not strolling. Okay. And meditation type activity. Choose which one you want. In the BVI, we're very religious. We go to church, we pray. I would like us to actively pray and actively meditate, okay? Because you can use that as a way of reversing the stress response that you're feeling. Again, that's something you can learn. And if you continue to notice signs of stress, you have to know what those are for yourself. Seek EAP or other counseling. Let's talk about organizational change while I look at Mr. Archer and Ms. Stevens and Mr. Carwood. The managers, all of us have a role to play, right? So as employees, you want to do your stress management. Managers that are responsible for the operational day-to-day activities, go to the ILO website, I already did, and download the app. There's an app that will help you to do some checklists in your workplace so you can see whether your workplace is stress producing. Okay, it's very useful. It has a lot of information. Go to the ILO website. We all have iPhones, cell phones. Okay? And actively advocate for changes in your environment. Top-level managers, we have to advocate for organizational policies. So I was glad to hear Dawn talk about policies that enhance productivity and increase persons' sense of security at work. Sense of security at work. That's important for a lot of us. And not having that creates a lot of stress. So, one simple example, and I'm going to throw this out there as, because this is something that I've been thinking about, and I'm just going to throw it out there for us to think about. Labor is here. What is the official work time in the BVI? Come, people. 8:30 to 4:30. Every business, 8:30 to 4:30, or 9 to 5, right? What's the official school time? 8:40 to 3:30 for most people. Okay. Has anybody ever wondered why it is in this day and age we don't have flexible working times, flex schedules, or staggered working times? I'm a mom, so I understand the stress, right, of, boy, I got to get my son to school at 8:30, and I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. Okay. And when I've talked before to some employees, for example, about shifting the start time at work, we get there's a lot of stress associated with that because everything is built around the school time. But Honorable Christian was on point when he talked in the House recently about staggered working times, because the truth is, when all of us are trying to get to work for 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and all the businesses are open at the same time, there's a lot of stress associated with that. Because you have to leave to go pay bills, you have to pick up the kids, but you still have to be at work and you still have to be productive. It is not something that currently is working for us in the UK. They've started to move towards flex time. So I'm just going to throw that out there. That's one small way that we can make some changes. In your work environment, has anybody done an assessment of their work environment looking at, because we're all computerized, our workstations? Have we looked at our workstations? I get very distressed when I walk in and I see workstations where the computer is above your head, the keyboard is holding your hand at this angle or some strange thing, right? Because you do know that inappropriate or having a work environment that's not ergonomically correct is also a source of stress and will cause significant musculoskeletal issues. Okay, so orthopedic surgeons are very happy with that because it produces work for them, right? So there are small changes that we need to make that I would like to see us make at all levels, because the price of not changing is going to be, we cannot afford the cost of not changing, not in a country where we're heavily dependent on our human resources. So let's make today's celebration really count. Let's see some action after today, and let's hear some true organizational changes and personal stress management changes happening even after today. Thank you.
Can you see why stress is a collective challenge? And Dr. Samuel, I will dare to say that our organization is moving in that direction. As we look to our one government, those are some of the things through the Department of Human Resources that we will be looking at. Because stress is indeed, and it does indeed impact our work, our productivity, and we will be looking at that. We're soon to launch our health and safety policy, which will bring us in alignment with the labor code And of course, it's something that we have to look at. This is something that is looked at globally. Dr. Samuel, thank you so much for highlighting all that you have and helping us understand better the importance of stress in the workplace. I acknowledge the presence of my PS, Mr. David Archer with the Deputy Governor's Office, and my friend, Ms. Donna Klein from Elmore State High School. Thank you for being here. At this time, we're gonna try to make you laugh a little bit. Yeah, let's put some smile on your faces. Okay, we're gonna call on an awesome group of people that I work with from the Human Resources Department to do a little skit. Ladies, get yourself ready. They're gonna do a little depiction of how to deal with workplace stress. But while I'm here, as they prepare, please come forward. I told you Pastor Simon is already here. EAP is gonna be here. We're gonna hear on nutrition and stress. And Miss Lisa Adamson is gonna do a very interactive session as well on how to de-stress at work.
Co-workers Sally and Joanne are busy conversing about their weekend. Now, I invite you to watch and listen as this scene unfolds.
Good morning, Sally. How was your weekend?
It was okay.
Where are the reports that I asked you guys for on Friday afternoon? Ladies, I'm asking you guys for the reports that I asked you for on Friday afternoon. I have a meeting with the PS at 10 o'clock and I need my reports. Where are the reports?
We'll have them ready as soon as possible.
As soon as possible doesn't work. I need them now.
Okay, we'll work on them now.
Thank you.
Anyway, Sally, we'll talk a little later.
I just sick and tired of coming to this stupid office doing the same thing over and over and over. I just hate this place. I can't wait for my transfer to hurry up approve. I can't wait for my transfer to approve. As soon as I step in this office, I just get a headache. And when I call in sick, it's a big thing. Nobody knows what I'd be going through, you know. Nobody knows what I'd be going through. My husband and I are having a divorce, and the kids are just driving me crazy. Nobody really knows what I'd be going through, my son. And then when you come here, they just want you to walk like a workhorse. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to lose it, my son.
Sally, I feel your pain. I went through some rough times like you. But guess what? I made an appointment to go and see our Employee Assistant Program Counselor. Our Employee Assistant Program Counselor listened to my problem, did not judge me, and most of all, very, very confidential. Now I'm doing so much better, as you can see. Here is one of the brochure. I think you need to make this call now. 468-4350.
But how can some stranger help me? Because these people just want to know your business.
No, girl. The Employee Assistant Program counselors are very professional. They will sit down with you and discuss your situation, which helps you to see the problem clearer. They will help you to find solutions to your problem. I know how you feel, though, because I felt the same way at first. But after I spoke to the counselor, a load was lifted up off of me. Seeing the Employee Assistant Program counselor was one of the best decisions I ever made.
I guess I will give it a try. I just can't go on like this. I can't go on like this. I really need some help. I think I'm going to give it a try.
Pleasant good morning. Employee Assistance Program, Ms. Spam speaking. How may I help you today?
Hi, good morning. This is Sally from the Registry of Housing. I am experiencing some serious problems, and I was told that you can help. So I'm calling to see if I can get some help because I can't, if I go through this any longer, I might have a breakdown, and I really don't want that to happen. Can you please help me?
Well, Sally, I am truly sorry that you are having a difficult time right now. But truthfully, we all experience ups and downs in life. The stresses, conflicts, and challenges, though they are part of daily living, because even I experience them, they ever so often take a toll on us and get the best of us. At times, we are able to deal with these situations on our own or with the help of family and friends. But sometimes, quite honestly, sometimes, it helps to talk to an experienced counselor. The Employee Assistance Program provides professional, confidential counseling services to all public officers and their immediate family. And Sally, this is a resource that is readily available to you to help you deal with what you're currently facing. Would you like to make an appointment to come and speak with me?
Sure, please.
How does Wednesday at 10 a.m. sound for you?
Yeah, Wednesday at 10 a.m. sounds pretty good. I could make that.
Great, Sally. I look forward to seeing you then, and take care. See you soon.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to getting all the help that I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, this skit depicted an unfortunate workplace situation that created stress for both the office manager and the employee. With the services provided by the Employee Assistance Program, Sally was able to receive the necessary support to be more effective in the workplace and to enhance her overall wellness. I thank you for your attention.
I'm really honored to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Human Resources and the Health and Safety Unit of the Government of the Virgin Islands. Workplace stress, as highlighted in the opening program, is a serious issue, and it requires awareness. So thank you, Ms. Leonard. Thank you, Mr. Callwood and Dr. Samuel, for addressing the importance of this issue. I would also like to thank Ms. Rapsat for her beautiful poem, and our cast for a very entertaining yet purpose-driven skit. So thank you, Ms. Wheatley. Thank you, Ms. Penn, Ms. Walters, Ms. Gibbs, and Ms. Cameron. As mentioned earlier by Ms. Leonard, we have interactive sessions later on today. So I'd like to take this opportunity as well to thank our guest speakers, Pastor Simon, Ms. Hoyt, Ms. Adamson, and Ms. Callwood-Lewis. Finally, I would like to extend a special thank you to all individuals, organizations, and private businesses that have willingly collaborated and partnered with us today through exhibitions and/or prizes and supplies. Your contributions have and will indeed make this day very special. We are indeed humbled and grateful for your kindness and generosity. So BVI Health Service Authority, Save the Seed Energy Center, Amara Spa, Therapy Works, Village Key Restaurant, Fish and Lime, Census Health Club, Anegada Beach Club, Soleil Spa, Peter Island Resort and Spa, Allure Day Spa, Brightway, SuperValue, National Health Insurance, Ms. Sandra Herbert, ZBVI Radio Station, Kine Tees, Mr. Linton Leonard, Ministry of Health and Social Development, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture, Facilities Department, Public Works Department, Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ms. Claire Brown, Ms. Ivy George, the Employee Assistance Program, Ms. Colleen Penn, the GIS team, and our HR team. So lastly, to all of those who have assisted in organizing this event, I say thank you. And to all of you who took the time to attend and support this event today, thank you so much for your support. And do enjoy all that has been prepared for you today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fonseca. I want to thank you all again for being here. And if you stick around, you can win some awesome prizes, I'm telling you. Ms. Donovan Stevens says, of course, you know, our department might not be so, what should I say? We might not be in the mix of being able to get them because that might be a conflict of interest, but all other public officers are are encouraged to participate today. So register in the front, get your ticket, because you can win a 50-minute spa at Peter Island or a 2-night stay in Anegada. Who would like to win that? I know. So register with our group in front, and thank you so much for coming. It has been a pleasure preparing and planning and doing this for our public officers, and we want to thank again, I can't thank enough, our public partners, or private partners, I'm sorry, for coming together and making this day a special day for all our public officers. So please stick around for interactive sessions and partake of all the exhibitions on the outskirts. Thank you so much.